Last year, I had the goal to read 26 books in the year in 2019. Unfortunately, I fell short. I actually read 18, which is still something, but it bothered me that I didn't hit my goal. So for 2020, I'm gonna go ahead and read 26 books. With the knowledge I acquired of how to read those books, I'll be able to do it. In fact, I realized that I was gonna crush the 26 books in 2020, so much so that I was actually reading an average a book a week. So right now we're halfway through the year, 26 weeks passed, and I finished my 26th book. So I wanna talk to you guys about that, how this new ritual in my life has completely changed my life, and it has the possibility to change yours. So we're gonna talk about the top 3 things that I've noticed that has improved in my life since reading a book a week. If you guys are new here, my name is Dedeyan, and on this channel, the mission is to optimize people who want to perform, to get them from where they are to where they want to be. Because we thoroughly believe the only difference between both of those points is the knowledge you need to acquire and consistently utilizing that knowledge. So if that is you and you want to become a peak performing person, don't hesitate at all to give me one of these, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. So the first thing that I've noticed by reading a book a week is that you're increasing your knowledge, right? It's pretty much a given, right? But what I mean by this is not the aspect of everything you're reading you're gonna remember. I mean, it's almost impossible unless you have a photogenic memory. The aspect of the knowledge you're acquiring is that you're learning different thought patterns. When you're reading books from philosophers, from doctors, from athletes, or any type of industry, you have just access to these types of people and the way they think. Subconsciously, you're remembering these things in some way, shape, or form. So that's the main thing, because like I said, you're not gonna remember everything. But that being said, pending how you read, pending your structure and the way you take down notes, the reality that I've realized is this is a straight up, essentially a link or an extension of my knowledge and of my brain in some way. Because personally, when I read, I write down certain parts that are more interesting. I highlight, I take post notes, and I remember that, I remember reading this subject within one book or another. So if I want to pull it back up, I have a way to go back into it and I know exactly what pages. I open it and I start reading it. So that's one thing that I find extremely interesting. As you're developing your library, you're also developing the ability to go get the knowledge you want for that specific task you're doing or whatever the case is. So the second thing that I've noticed that has really changed my life when I've been reading a book a week is that my vocabulary has significantly increased. Now, once again, this is pretty much a given. As you read, as you get exposed to these different types of words, subconsciously and consciously, you are remembering these types of words and you start developing it and putting it within your normal vocabulary. Now, as I was thinking about this and preparing this video, I went and I did a little research and I wanted to find out how many words it exists in the English dictionary. And the number was approximately 600,000 words in the English dictionary. And what I saw is that in average, every individual uses anywhere between 20 to 35,000 words. So that is quite a big difference. From 600,000 to, let's say, take the top of the average, which is 35,000, we're talking about 17% in average of the English language potential you're only using. Now, granted, in those 600,000s, there's a lot of words that it's not something you can use in your common vocabulary or conversation, or whatever the case is, and as you should not in certain places. All I'm saying is, as you keep on reading and you expose yourself to these new words, your arsenal of tools within the English language completely increases and you're able to utilize it to your advantage. So that's one thing that I thoroughly have seen that I've changed, and I've seen a big difference from that end. If you guys are seeing there's some value within this video, don't hesitate at all to give me one of these, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the bell notification. So the third thing that I've noticed that has completely changed my life since reading a book a week is that it's easier for me to accomplish my goals within everything that I'm doing. Now, what do I mean by this? First of all, I'm somebody that reads a lot of self-help, biographies, philosophy work, and just a lot of great stuff like that. And when it comes to the biography side, I'm reading books that these are people that I look up to or companies that I look up to, and I'm learning about their startup story or their origin story. And that really makes them not see them like non-approachable. It seems like almost accessible. Like if I'm looking at like Elon Musk story or Steve Jobs or Richard Branson, they have a beginning story as well, which is really close to yours and mine. And it gets them out of that pedestal of like, oh my God, look at them. And you're not comparing their step 85 to your step 14. You're realizing that they had their step 14 as well. They just put in the work consistently to get there. And that helps you and helps me see that, oh my God, if they could do it, we could do it as well, because there's really no difference between anybody that you're idolizing and you. It's just the only thing is the time they put to get to that level. So that's one thing that I realized. Furthermore, it's easier for me to break down my goals to a manageable step every single day. Such as, imagine this goal, I want to read 52 books a week, not a week, but a year. And that could be extremely overwhelming, right? You're like, oh my God, they're saying all CEOs or top CEOs read about a book a week. How do we do it and how do we break it apart? So this is the way I go about it. We're gonna do some math together. So if you look at an average book has anywhere between 90,000 words, all right? An average reader reads anywhere between 200 to 250 words per minute. So if you take the 90,000 divided by 250, it comes down to 360 minutes. You take 360 divided by 60 minutes to find out how many hours. We're talking about an average, a book should take you 6 hours to read. So now if you want to read within your week a book, you're going to say, how am I going to split this 6 hours within the week? And this is the way I do it, and I'm going to invite you guys to do the same. It's been working great for me. First thing is I split out 45 minutes 6 times a week. So Monday to Saturday, I do 45 minutes. Usually in the morning, I just feel like my brain is so much more fresh in the morning. It's easier for me to consume the information in the morning. And then once a week on Sundays, I go in a coffee shop and I do a longer sitting, which is an hour and a half. By doing this, I'm accomplishing my goal of 1 book per week. Now, this is a very good way and interesting way to break it down and really utilize it. Now, this is not taking in consideration if you're listening to audiobooks as well. Like you might be driving easily 6 hours within your week, if not more than that, commuting left and right or whatever the case is, or when you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth or whatever the case is. So one thing that I do is I listen to audiobooks as well as I read physical books. So that's how it helps me get to that goal. And I actually read several books at the same time, which I've spoken about in another video, which I will link up and you guys can go check out as well. Another trick that I use, which I've mentioned in the previous video, is that I use accountability sheets or partners and really find out, okay, am I in track with the books that I want to read per week? So you could really keep that and following. So this is the way that I do it. There's other things you could go check out, such as applications, Goodreads, which I'm going to invite you guys to go check out. You'll see exactly what books I have read for the 26 exactly at this point. So these are the structures that I've used, and I hope it's going to help you guys out as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it's going to inspire you to read more books, because I thoroughly believe reading a book is probably one of the greatest ways to accumulate knowledge. Now, there's so many other avenues, such as, like we mentioned, audiobooks or listening to podcasts, YouTube videos, or lectures, or whatever the case is. But to be quite honest, when it comes to a book, for me, there's something more within a book, because in average, it takes years to write a book, and some people even it takes decades. So when people pour their heart and their knowledge within a book, a 300-page, it's so much more eloquently put together, and the ideas and thought pattern is so well put together. So it's really great to consume books on that end. Not saying the other formats are not good, they're really good as well. It's just that the quantity of time put for a book is not at all close to doing a YouTube video or a podcast or so on and so forth. So that's why I'm a huge fan of reading books. Now, the question of the day is, what is your favorite book, or what is the book that you have read that has impacted you the most within your life? For me, if we're talking about books that impacted me the most, it's probably the first book that I've ever read by myself that wasn't mandatory, which was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, a phenomenal read. And the second one was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is a staple for anybody that's in self-development. So I definitely suggest you guys to check out these books as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you guys are motivated to really read more. Let me know how that goes for you. As well, there's some videos over here that could interest you within my book series or whatever the case is. And you have this button, which is my profile button. Click on it, you'll subscribe, join the family. It'll be my pleasure. I hope you guys have a great day and a blessed and grateful life.